Time for my
Sean, I
speedy
have something
tale.
to ask you.
Okay.
Um, would it be possible for Celentus to enchant magical items,
I'm gonna
like
say
crafting?
it would take an amount. It would take a significant amount of time, and it would depend on
Well,
what.
yeah, like I was looking through the DMG, and it's like 25 gold a day plus like 8 hours a day every day for like 20 days just for an uncommon magic item. So yeah, it's gonna take a long time, but like, would you allow that?
I mean, yeah, we would have to work out the details and everything, and I would look at the rules in the DMG. But yeah, I mean,
All right, I just wanted to
I just
poke
want
you
it to
about
be
that.
clear that it would be an investment, which is obviously what the
Yeah, I
DMG
know it's
throws
gonna be
out.
an investment. Like normal rules, it's really an investment as well. So
Right. Okay.
that's obvious. It's gonna be an investment.
Yeah, it's also really
But I'll
hard
have
to
to
do
poke
while
you later about
traveling.
that after maybe after game.
Okay.
You have to have your tools, baby.
All right. So we come back, and you guys are in this kind of cramped little back room in this tavern in the docks in Waterdeep, and Alton, you've kind of taken the chair across from Arcee, and she has these two um, individuals behind her, um, and um, yeah, and she says to you, Alton, you've kind of had your greetings, and she appears to be just kind of waiting to see, what you'll say. What is your offer? What are you here for?
You're a busy person. We're on a time frame. His family's been kidnapped by the Zents. We want the family back, and the Zents dead. Think we can help each other?
Yeah, and I think when you say, you want them dead, I think the man over her left shoulder on your right side, the one without the mask, he seems to like perk up at this, gets a little excited. She says, "Well, yeah, yeah, we can. That's the kind of business we trade in, and yeah, we can do that. So I don't really care about personal details, but you want some people dead? That can be arranged. Uh, we're gonna have to discuss coin. It's we don't work for nothing."
We
Didn't
technically
expect you
want
to.
some people found as well.
Yes, we're looking for one Aldo. Did we get his last name?
And when you say found, the guy without the masks like takes a step forward. This whole time he's been kind of quiet and just standing there. He does look a bit like the fidgety type, and he says, he just steps forward very abruptly. He goes, "Listen, fuckwads." He said, "We get paid to kill people. That's what we do. I thought that's what we were coming for." And the RC just kind of like puts her hand up to silence him. He's like, "No, RC, this is bullshit. These fucking people." He's like, and he's starting to get worked up. And RC kind of turns. She's like, "Cantor, shut up. Shut up."
Somebody needs to put a
And like
chain on.
Cantor takes a step back. He's like, "Fucking pricks. Just bullshit." And RC's like, "Apologies for the outburst. We're professionals, but as my," and like there's a reluctancy when she says it. She says, "My colleague says we get paid to kill people. Blunt as it was, he's not wrong. You want somebody to find somebody, that's not what we do. We're in that business of murder."
Is
That,
business good?
That depends on what you're willing to pay.
Well, I think we might have wasted our time if all you do is kill people because we don't just want someone killed. We need to find specific people. So
yeah,
if
we
you're
And
want to
like
not in the
find.
business of finding them,
and
then
again, Cantor steps forward. He's like, "You fucking assholes." He's like, "You find people before you kill them." And RC like puts her hand up again, and like at this point, you hear a small voice come out of the individual wearing the mask, and it's kind of a hard voice. Like, you're not sure if it's male or female. It's a bit androgynous, and it says, um, like, "Cantor, can you just calm down?" He's like, "Cantor, like we're gonna just," and like Cantor turns over, and if you guys turn to look at the person with the mask, like Cantor starts like he's not yelling. He's like, "Weird boy, shut the fuck up." He's like, "We get the jobs, RC and I." And I think like if you're watching the person that was just referred to as Weird Boy, the painting on the mask begins to move. Yes, Weird Boy. That's literally what he called him. And the paint on his mask starts to move, and Cantor is just like, "All right, Weird Boy. All right, fine. Fuck. Like, fine." And Weird Boy kind of like turns back to all of you, and RC looked a little agitated by all this, and RC's like, "Listen, We find people and we kill them. You want to pay us to find people, we can do that. Doesn't really add to our rep though. So we're going to need some serious coin here. And like Cantor obviously doesn't like the sound of it, but he doesn't butt in just yet.
Yes, well, I want you to find someone and kill them as well, so it should be all right for your reputation.
And again, Cantor steps forward. He's like, yeah, but you're saying you want found and killed. He's saying he doesn't want people killed. Look, what the fuck do you want? God, fuck.
Shut up, weird boy.
No, that was Cantor.
That was Cantor.
Not Weird Boy. Cantor's the one who keeps talking.
Huh.
Weird Boy
The
basically
dog.
isn't interrupting very much.
Shut up, Cantor.
He's
Yes.
like a chihuahua.
They're going to be in the same place. His family, we want alive. The person holding them, we want dead. It's very simple.
And again, like Cantor starts to step forward to raise his hands, like, "What the fuck?" And RC just like puts her hand up. All right. So you want some people found and killed. That we can do. He said, you said the man's name is Aldo. You have any leads?
That is correct.
You have any leads on him? You said he's Zentarum. I got no love for him. Where can we look to? It's gonna take us some time to find him. Any leads you can give us to aid us would be good.
Well, we have
Up
his
until
last number.
recently was at, I don't remember the name of your inn.
No, they're the information that I just got. It sounds like they're near water. So literally, it could be anywhere along the coast.
Yeah, and again, Cantor's like, yeah, along the coast. That's great. That's really useful. And like Weird Boy sort of takes a step forward, and again, the mask looks like it's moving. And Cantor kind of is like, fuck, Jesus Christ. Like, Oscar, just fucking talk. And Weird Boy just kind of like turns his head to look at Cantor. And there's like a weird moment. Cantor just takes a step back. He's like, fine, fuck. And Weird Boy kind of says behind the mask, just give us some time. We'll locate them. And RC kind of says, yeah, we can do this for you. Find some people, kill some folk. It's fine. We can do that. We're going to have to talk about coin up front, though.
I expect nothing less.
It's like, well, seems kind of important to you, as agitated as you all seem, so don't think I'm out of line asking for about 50 gold for this.
I think that
Up,
seems
up to you.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable, actually.
that's
And
all.
I think at this point, Cantor steps forward. He's like, yeah, it's fucking reasonable. Yeah, good. I'm glad. And RC's like, Jesus fucking Christ, Cantor. And like the two of them like want to bicker, and Oscar just sort of steps forward and puts his hand out. He said, we'll just need a few hours. Would you like to meet back here?
They've left your family's inn, right? Can we just go to your family's inn?
They're not at the inn. I
I know.
messaged my
but
father.
can't we just go to your family's inn and stay there? Since they cleaned out?
What are you wanting to do?
No, I mean, just can't we meet them there at your family's inn?
Here's fine. Why make things complicated?
This place is kind of gross.
It's just on the other side of town, though. That's so far away from the water where they're likely going to be held. I don't.
If they're near water, the closer to the docks is probably better.
Exactly.
Right.
Besides, Bellion's a local celebrity now.
Passing thought.
Okay, so is that the plan? You're just going to stay here and wait for them?
Oh no, I wouldn't stay down in the room. But we're gonna meet them back, and they said they need a couple hours, and we're gonna meet them back in a couple hours.
Okay.
I'm definitely not just gonna sit in this room.
In the tavern upstairs, at least.
Well, I'm sure that's how we'll have to get back in. We have to go just unless there's a back door or another entrance.
Yeah, there is actually a back door. There is a back entrance to this place. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if we have access to that, then that's fine.
Okay. Yeah, and RC kind of stands up and says to no one in particular, "Well, we're gonna need the coin."
I hand it over.
Okay. Yeah, and she like makes a motion of obviously like weighing the coin and like inspecting it. And you do notice like Cantor looks. I mean, he might as well be drooling for how hard he's staring at the coins.
Can I do something quick?
What would you like to do?
I can actually show you who we want you to kill and who we want you to take. And she starts alter selfing into everybody.
Yeah.
This is Aldo. This is so and so from the bar. This is his mother. This is his sister. This is his father.
Okay. Yeah.
If they're dead, bring the bodies back.
Yeah, and Weird Boy seems to be taking an interest in what you're doing. Like he gets a little almost too close to you. Like he's trying to figure out like how you're doing that. And I think Cantor kind of like crosses his arms and starts like stroking his beard. Says, "That's a neat fucking trick." He said, "You and I should party sometime. What do you say?"
She turns into him, gives him a wink.
And he winks back. He goes, "Fuck yeah."
I think I figured out how to shut him up.
Yeah, it does not. If anything, that makes him worse. And RC says, like, again, to kind of no one in particular, she's, all right, that'll be helpful. Like I said, just give us a few hours. We'll see what we can turn up.
All right.
Pleasure doing business with you.
And RC kind of nods. Yep. Maybe we'll do it again sometime. And she kind of like beckons, because you guys will have to leave first, because there's no door behind them. So she's like, all right, like, let's go.
I'll leave first since I was probably standing by the doorway the whole time if it was crowded in there. So
Okay.
Man, it smells bad in here. Let's get out.
So, yeah, you guys go to leave, and the bloodletters sort of disappear out through the door into the darkness, and they're, they're pretty stealthy. They're pretty good about it. They just sort of vanish out into the city streets. So, yeah, you guys have a few hours. How do you want to spend your time, if at all?
I want to get into a fist fight with the big dude.
Okay.
You want to
Sure.
die?
I do not want to get into a fist fight with the big dude.
I just wanted to know she's gonna lose, but
Okay. So yeah, you head out to the bar, and he says, "Don't want to fight you. You've been good for business."
why not? Come on, it'll be fun.
No, doesn't seem right. You can fight the wife though.
Just punch me once.
While we have a few hours, Alton's also going to do a sending to Beth to let her know where we all are and what we're doing. So in 25 words or less, at whatever the name of the bar is by the docks, planning a rescue and a murder. And then recharging my spells.
Okay, so you're actually taking a short rest.
Absolutely.
Okay. So Linda, yeah, he kind of like, you say that to him. Give me a persuasion check.
Sure, I'm real good at persuasion. That one. Ha!
And he punches you in the face.
I want an attack roll, motherfucker.
Like, well. Oh, that's good.
See if he can hit me.
I mean, he doesn't have a character sheet, so I'm just gonna make up a roll here, because he's gonna use strength because he's strong as fuck. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he hits me.
Yeah. So he punches you. So you take effectively like 9 damage to the face.
Shit, man.
Why don't you roll me a, let's, I don't know what you would roll. Let's say a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. I'm not very good at these.
Okay, so You start to pull away, and he still slams into you. Basically, like he hits the like side of your face. If you wouldn't have tried to move, he probably would have knocked your teeth out. But as it stands, you're gonna have a black eye, and it definitely tussles your hair, your face. The whole half of your face is probably gonna be bruised. And he just kind of
Hell
turns.
yeah.
He just kind of turns to you and gives you a smile.
She's like, hell yeah. And she goes for a high five.
Yeah, and he's like, just shrugs, let you high five him.
When was the last time you punched a noble?
He like scratches his chin, just shrugs, don't care.
Tonight, my man.
He said, "Oh, like it actually takes him a while to figure out what you're trying to tell him." He's like, "Okay."
Next time, Shalinda, if you
doesn't
want to
care,
get
Bellion.
punched, ask for someone smaller.
But that was fun. It hurts like hell, though.
It really does.
Okay. Okay. So Elizabeth, you're heading for the docks. Okay.
Probably hoofing it because she doesn't know the time frame.
Mm-hmm. And I think, yeah, you really don't see anyone going out. Everyone seems to be fast asleep through the entirety of the temple, so you can make your way out very easily. Okay, so Elizabeth is running. Alton is meditating. Selenda is fighting the big barman. What is everyone else doing? Balaam?
If we have a few hours, I'm gonna walk up and down the docks, seeing if I can hear anything, see anything.
Okay.
I'll probably accompany Valen this time. Get some fresh air and keep an eye out for Beth when she arrives.
Okay.
As she wanders the docks aimlessly for this tavern.
The sticky wicket.
So, Valem, why don't you give me a persuasion check? Like Reginald, if you're assisting, it would give him advantage. It's up to you.
Yeah, I'll take the assist action.
Okay. Well, yeah, he gets a 17 regardless. Okay. Valem, I think like you're kind of pacing along the docks, and there's a point at which you see Arcee, and she seems to be like prowling the docks, and she's like finding some sailors. She moves pretty quickly. She like grabs a couple sailors. You see like an exchange of words, maybe of coin, and it's far down the docks. Like it's quite a clip from you, so you can't hear what's being said, but you see some exchange happening. Excuse me. And yeah, she kind of like talks to them, exchanges some coin, wanders down. You see her kind of like again just prowling through the docks. At some point, you see her probably threatening another sailor who's by themselves, like threatening to like drown him basically to hold him under the water. And then she kind of disappears like down through the ships and what have you. But yeah, you don't really see much else as you're kind of patrolling the docks.
What was I trying to persuade?
Oh, I meant perception. I'm sorry.
Oh,
Doesn't matter. If I said persuasion, I meant perception. It's fine.
okay.
It doesn't matter. So you see.
I thought that might have been one of
Just
the
trying to
sendings that I
persuade the
sent,
knight.
whether they were going to respond or not.
Sorry.
'Cause I sent 3 sendings. He only responded to one of them.
Well, I know. Yeah, one of those is not going to respond to you.
Okay.
For sure. That was intentional. I don't. Who is the second one? Oh, you said to Miyuki.
Miyuki. Mm-hmm.
Let me think about that and get back to you.
Okay.
Bellion, what sort of trouble are you causing?
Probably just watches other people try to stab their own fingers and then just like start like flipping and juggling a knife for no reason. Just
Okay.
being a distraction to people.
Yeah, and I think what happens is like you're watching, and as the night progresses, the wounds are getting worse because people are getting drunker because they don't know that You drink a little for this game to stable your hands, so you're not as nervous. But if you drink too much, it obviously makes things worse. So you're
I
starting
don't
to see
feel
a
it that
lot.
bad.
You're starting to see a lot of like minor cuts and bruises and wounds. You're starting to see like blood splatter on tables and things from some of them.
Really ties the place together.
Yeah. And yeah, the big man is sort of watching this and just kind of observing his surroundings.
Hey, big man, I think you're better than all of them.
Yeah, and he just gives you a nod and a smile. And he says, "Don't want to be better than them. Just need to be better than you."
One day you will get my number. I know it.
And he gives you a smile, gives you a nod. He's soon.
Next time I come in here, we'll play.
Foreplay.
Okay.
That's what it sounds like, right?
A little bit, yes.
Okay, so Elizabeth, it takes you some time to trek down to the docks, through the city, and you can see objectively as you're heading down from the temple. This city is laid out very clear fashion. Like the nobles and the wealthy stay up top, the merchants stay in the middle, and then down south is basically like it might as well be shantytown. Like it's violent down here. It's dark. It's loud. It's a rough part of town, especially relative to where you've been. City streets are a lot more narrow. There's a lot less open space down here. But it doesn't take you long probably to find. Do you head down to the docks, or are you just looking for the bar?
Well, I believe he did say in the message they're down at the docks at this particular spot. So she'd hit the docks first by the fastest means she knows to be available, and then just kind of wander the docks and look for some place that looks open, lighted, and possibly troublesome because she knows her teammates.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, there's a lot of places like that. So it probably takes you probably enter like 3 or 4 bars before you realize that your friends aren't here. But I think that what probably draws your attention is like as you're like prowling the streets trying to find a specific bar, one of them sounds louder than the rest because the front window is completely shattered. And as you kind of walk by, you have to stop in front of the window and turn to look in. And I think the first person whose eye you catch is Bellion, who seems to be like playing with his daggers, and he's just sort of casually observing other people, like basically stabbing themselves in the hands. I imagine Elizabeth is probably surprisingly not shocked by this scene.
No, she kind of
still-
like she's going past the door. She hears it. She glances over, catches his eye, and just gives him that look of, "What the fuck?" But then
And
makes
then
her
she
way in.
notices Syl is like sitting right next to him with a cup up to her face.
Yeah.
There's a moment where she kind of pauses and like just focuses on Bellion, pointedly not looking at Celinda, but she just can't do it. And she just kind of gives that shit kind of look. Like she's not saying I'm sorry, but words were said and she knows they were said.
Beth, don't worry about it. She asked for it. I mean that literally. She asked for it.
She's not thinking about the punch, like the bruise that's forming. She's not even gonna comment on that.
Also, these people are amazing. You should sit down and have a drink.
I should
It is
probably get in the door first, but there's a large man in my way. Hi. Can I get through here?
Yeah, and
Like,
he just looks at you. Hi.
She's with me. She's also very fast, by the way.
Yeah, and he like raises an eyebrow at the connotation. Kind of smiles. He looks at you, Elizabeth, and gives you a nice smile. He said, "My kind of girl." Kind of like steps aside so you can come into the bar.
thank you. Not really sure what happens, and gets next to Bellion. Why is everybody trying to cut their fingers off?
If they ask you to play a game and you are not good with a dagger, do not say yes.
Is there a trick to it, Bellion?
Not really. The biggest trick is just not caring when you stab yourself because you need to practice a lot.
I assume it has something to do with being good with your hands?
I am very good with my hands, correct.
But really? But I haven't been here. I thought we were...
Wait, what?
Where are the old guys?
They went outside. They'll be back. We sort of hired some people. You should probably not mention this all around, but they'll be back to meet us soon.
He hired assassins.
We did not hire assassins. We are assassins.
No,
I mean,
we hired assassins.
you are not assassins, correct?
I'm not an assassin.
Wait, Alton said something about a rescue, not an assassination.
Well,
In fairness, I said a rescue and a murder.
Ooh, I didn't see you there.
No one does.
I knew he was there. Alton, you should probably play with them one time.
No, I need my fingers.
I was
Not
hiding
this
him under
badly.
my dress.
Well, that makes more sense.
I still owe you, Alton. I'm just saying. You should play once.
And Beth will try and find a place to sit down. Because
You most assuredly do owe me a banishment spell, I think.
Don't worry. It will come.
Wait, can you banish him?
Oh, no, excuse me, a polymorph spell.
No, seriously, can you banish him?
Which him?
Bellion.
Beth?
What?
I look Bellion up and down and go, no, he might act. When he knows it's coming, he'll probably be able to counter it.
Oh. So when he doesn't know it's coming.
I look at Bellion, I didn't do it this time.
I didn't look at it. I'm turning her into that later, don't worry. She doesn't know it yet, but it is coming.
Bellion,
Yes.
where did you get the kitty cat?
The kitty cat? Oh, this little thing right here? It was stolen.
I actually think by this point the Tressum is probably hiding in the rafters of this bar. Because
Yeah, probably.
there's no chance it's near the floor where all the blood and everything else is.
And the
Yeah,
feet.
yeah. It's just calmly
I mean, we've still
perched
seen
high
it.
above, just staring down at us. Go, well, I found it, and then I took it with me. I'm pretty sure someone owns it, but it is mine now. Apparently, it likes me.
Like, Celinda has like this most jealous face you've ever seen on her right now.
You will pet him and call him Marcus.
Marcus? Who names a Tressa Marcus?
And when
It's a
the
silly
when you
name.
say that name, the big burly man kind of like looks up as if you're talking to him.
Oh, no. Wait, you're not a Tressum, are you? And she kind of smiles like she's trying to be funny, but she hasn't really got a good read on the guy.
Yeah, and he just looks a little confused when you say that. And he takes his big meaty thumb and points it back at his face, and he goes, "Marcus."
Ah,
Nice to meet you, Marcus. Just
pleasure.
Bellion, by the way.
Yeah, it
Did
gives
that
you
introduce
just like a
myself?
nod, like a respectful nod.
So, what are the old men?
I was just told to come here, so I'm here.
I thought Reginald was looking for her outside. I was waiting for her out there.
Well, he was keeping an eye out for me.
Well, no, Reginald went with Valem to go patrol
Yeah,
the
I mean-
dogs.
Yeah, but he also said,
also to keep an eye out for Beth. But we could have been like walking away from the
Yeah.
bar, like down a block and a half or something when she came by. So I might have just missed her.
Okay.
I figured like before, we're not going too far along the docks, just a few, a block either direction from maybe 2 blocks at most.
Okay.
By the way, do not.
Unless Valem wants to crawl all the way down to the far end of the docks and back. Just scope out things, but
I think we just wait for them.
So I think that several hours passes, and it's basically dawn at this point, and yeah, you guys are all, those of you who didn't rest. Well, I mean, even then, nobody took a long rest, so I guess you all take a level of exhaustion, and yeah, morning comes. The sun is rising up over the city. At this point, this is the point of the day when most of the sailors are like too drunk to go on, and there's a bunch of snoring coming from inside of the bar. Marcus seems wide awake. His wife is still working and cleaning, but that's in quotes. Um, and the sun is rising up over the city, and the city streets are starting to fill with crowds and people and merchants and what have you. You start to hear the bells and whistles of the docks as ships are getting ready to depart, and some that are um, shipments that are coming and going and that sort of thing. And I think maybe about, I'm going to say like 8 o'clock in the morning. Um, the you guys hear like a loud like it's a human voice, but there's a loud whistle that comes from the back of the bar. And those of you who are in the bar can turn and see that it's Cantor. And he's done that thing where he puts his fingers in his mouth to whistle. And a bunch of the sailors look up all pissed off and bleary eyed, like they're ready to fight. And Cantor just kind of looks at all of you and he's like looking at you like, hey, assholes. And he just beckons you to come to the back.
I'll go.
I don't
Have
like
the
this
old
man.
men returned? I'm
Yeah, that's
assuming.
the question. No men back yet.
I mean, they could have, yeah, if Valem and
I'd
Reginald.
imagine.
Yeah, is Sean muted? He
Yeah.
hasn't said anything in a while.
Oh, I guess I am muted.
Okay then.
I mean, would you guys have returned to the bar? It's fine if you did.
Honestly, I would have continued to move around because, again, from what my father told me, they heard water, so I would have walked the docks listening for anything
Okay.
around doors and stuff
And
like
if, yeah,
that.
if Valen's going to keep looking, then I'll keep helping because, at least work in pairs or something.
Like, what is it? I mean, specifically, because listening for lapping water isn't going to help you. Like, is there
Exactly,
something?
but they can hear the waves and the tides. We're on the docks. That's the only thing that I can think of is just around doors, warehouses, things like that. Anywhere that they conceivably could have been kept.
I'm keeping my eye out for any of the, dozen or so individuals that were in the Valem's bar when me, Billy, and Alton went there the first night.
Okay. Yeah, you each can make me a perception check if you want. Okay. Yeah, you hear a lot of laughing water. You hear a lot of sailors coming and going. There's a lot of hustle and bustle. There's a lot of drunks who meander these streets. But with regards to looking for your parents or trying to find something, you're unsuccessful. You're not able to find anything that makes you think that that's where they might be being kelped. I said that weird.
Kelped.
That's what it sounded like. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So come morning, come sunrise. Cantor beckons those of you in the bar, which would only be Selenda, Belly, and Elizabeth and Alton. Do you go back?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
Just kind of look at Alton real quick and go, Alton, you might want to let them know that we're getting information.
I will, just nod and send the sending. Send the sending?
They may not get there in time, but they'll know that we're getting info.
Beth is gonna turn to Celinda. Are these the assassins?
This is a wild dog. But yes.
He's a little scruffy, but that's so mean.
You should have seen him when he was first here. He's worse than me.
Ladies,
Sorry.
please don't insult the employees.
I mean, she's not saying this loud enough for him to hear, but
Okay. So yeah, you guys head to the back, and it looks like Cantor's back there. RC is there, looking considerably more tired than she did before. And there's Weird Boy, who's kind of like hiding in the shadows as best as he is able, so you can just sort of make out the mask.
Beth gives him a really weird look.
Yeah, and I think like when you do that, the mask sort of shifts into like some sort of creepy ass smile at you.
Beth has to do like a double take, and then she kind of looks to Celinda like, "Is this serious? This seriously?"
Yeah, and Cantor like notices you, and he says to like kind of you and Celinda both at once, like, "Hey, who's this? You're pretty hot. You down to party?"
No,
Well, I mean not
She's
now, but I
taken.
mean like later, like tomorrow night.
no,
She's a bit of a prude.
I'm not. Really? I'm just not. I don't drink. I'm not.
Yeah,
We've
and
got
then,
other stuff to do.
He
Cantor-
didn't say anything about drinking.
and yeah, Cantor says, "Well, hey, you, honey." And he's talking to you, Celinda. He's like, "Can you just turn into her? Because that could be hot too." Like, I mean,
Celinda, don't you dare. You want to get punched? I will punch you. Don't you dare.
Celinda thinks about it real hard for a minute.
Oh, God.
She turns into a very, very curvy Beth.
Celinda. But yeah, Beth gives Celinda a purple nurple.
Ow!
Okay, Edwin, we need to go outside now.
yeah, and Cantor's
Yeah.
like, "Hell yeah!" And Arcee's like, "Can we get to business, please?"
Please. Please.
And Arcee reaches up onto the table and she puts a pouch there, and she drops it. And you hear that familiar clink of coin as she drops the bag back down.
Unsuccessful?
She says, "Not quite how I'd put it. We found him. You're going to need a lot more than us."
Well, we have us.
Yeah, well, yeah, you don't exactly inspire confidence, but you want to get yourselves killed, that's whatever.
Did you find the parents?
She said, well, I mean, from what we're told, they're in there with him. They're being held, but
Where?
there were too many people for us to be
You know
going
if
in
they're
there.
alive?
We're too many people. Like, we're not going
Ha-
to risk
That's
How
fine.
many?
Where?
a lot. More than we could count, honey. Like,
I just
distract-
nod a bit. Fair enough. If you're not willing to take the job,
Is this
that's fine.
just You?
Celinda, what do you say?
Is this the whole gang? These you four are the whole gang?
There's
She's-
3.
Yeah. Well, first of
Three?
all, you can't count.
Out and counting.
Yeah. Second of all, like, we've got friends, but we're not going to go to war for you. 50 gold ain't worth losing that many men. Like, this ain't some simple assassination job you hired us for. Sorry.
Well, how much is the information cost? That you're going to tell us where they are.
She said, "Look, we're going to give you half. You can have the half you gave us." She said, "There's some caves on the western coast outside the city. You got to get there by boat." She said, "There's like old sewers that lead out of there." She said, "There's probably, we didn't go in there. Like, I don't know what it looks like. But there were guards aplenty. We couldn't even get close."
Thank you. I like it. Half is more than reasonable, right? To give them for the information, right?
They got it sure. They sure as heck got it faster than we could have.
I agree.
Yeah.
Is there any way that you could make a simple drawing so we know where we're going? Because we're going there.
And like Cantor's just like, "What the fuck is your problem, dude? Like, West Coast, man, just take a boat." And Arcee's like they're obviously like getting ready to fight again. And I think Weird Boy kind of steps forward and he reaches his hand out. And like, what?
I was gonna say at the same time, can Beth like try to go calm Cantor? Like, hey, no, we just need to be very like at the same time that Weird Boy does.
Well, Weird Boy's not trying to step forward to calm Cantor. That's not what's happening.
Okay, so
Beth
Beth would kind of, hey, we're just trying to be very specific. There's there's things on the line here, so we just want to make sure we have it down. Sorry if we ask you to repeat yourself.
Cantor's like, "Hey, like, just," he's like, "There's other ways for you to calm me down, honey. Like, we'll get to
Can
that."
still catch his eye and try to like flirt with him a little to just like distract him
Yeah, you could try.
while the rest of them.
Give me a persuasion check, I guess. Charisma, persuasion.
Alter self, a large rip in your dress.
Yeah,
I
so
can't. can't do my clothes, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think 15 is enough that he notices you kind of touching yourself in a certain fashion. It kind of draws his attention. But Weird Boy still steps forward and he reaches out with his hand and he takes like his index and middle finger out with his thumb, and you start to notice what looks like what we would know as like almost like electrical current that looks like it begins sparking between each of his fingers. And he takes those three fingers into the air and he begins to draw in the air with this electrical current. And it seems to produce kind of a map that one might recognize as the coast, the western coast outside of Waterdeep.
Okay, I pull out my writing utensils and copy it down real quick.
Yeah, and there's an indication where there's almost like an indentation where the caves would be.
Excellent. Thank you very much. That is all we need. You've done very good work. If anyone asks, we tell them that you killed someone for us.
And I think when you say that, RC says, yeah, that won't be necessary. We just got paid. You can go about your business, and our business is concluded.
Very well. And I'll pick up the coin and be like, this is, who's this again?
Balaam's, I think.
Okay. Let's give this to Balaam.
Thank you.
By the way, you guys wouldn't know anything about the people at the Ruby Tuesday, would you?
And Cantor steps forward. He's like, fuck yeah, we know that prick. And RC like puts her hand on him. She's like, that's information costs. So don't know what you're looking for, but. And
It's his organization. It's.
I think Cantor is like looking at you and he's like licking his lips a little bit.
We'll be in touch. Selenda, no.
All right. Is there a way we can get into contact with you, though?
And
Besides,
and Cantor says, I'd love for you to contact me. And like, I think like Weird Boy sort of reaches out to Cantor to like just to put his hands on Cantor, and Cantor like steps back. He's like, "Fuck Oscar, fuck you, man. Just don't." And like RC says, "You found us once. You can do it again."
That is some amazing sexual tension between Asuka and Kento there.
And like, yeah, I think Oscar's like head kind of whips in your direction, and the mask starts to move, and it basically turns into this like. It's fairly haunting. Like it looks like some sort of spirit that looks trapped, like it's screaming at you. And yeah, Cantor turns. He's like, Cantor turns to you, Belly, and he goes, "Yeah, what he said. Now fuck off."
I love you too. Just leave.
you were so horrible.
Okay, so yeah, you guys have the information you want. You got some of your coin back at least. Yeah, what do you do?
Have
Assume we've made it back by now after receiving a sending. Maybe after the meeting has happened, but if Alton did a sending to Reginald, he would have said, "Hey, told Balaam that the Bloodletter's return and we should start heading back." If you send it to Balaam, I don't know if Balaam.
Oh, I definitely would have went back.
Okay.
So, I mean, Balaam, do you want to have arrived before the Bloodletters left or after? Like, does it matter to you?
It doesn't matter. We can get there after the meeting. They can just run into us.
Okay.
To relay the information.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so yeah, it's, most of the patrons here are completely out, unconscious, and yeah, so Balaam, you arrive, and what are you guys doing, the rest of you, when Balaam and Reggie come back to the bar?
Back to playing with knives. Just waiting.
Just waiting for Balaam.
Yeah, and bear in mind that it's like probably 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, we know.
Perhaps we should take this information to Rena.
us.
I can agree with that. If there's going to be a lot of people there and they think we need help,
We should contact her for help. Yeah,
It is not our information to choose to do that with. It goes to Balaam.
I know. We should talk to Balaam first, but that is my suggestion.
If it is me, I'd already be in there killing people. But you know how it goes.
Yeah, but it might be nice to have at least some backup.
Apparently, this is connected to the sewers, they said. So perhaps we do not even have to go
It's a mistake.
to a boat.
I think
Yes,
this is like probably the first time that Celinda and Mel or Elizabeth have groaned in unison.
yeah.
I did not even know a sewer existed until I came down here. Trust me, it is worse than you know.
No.
You've been in one?
I mean, there is always times where you do not. I didn't know where the tunnel went.
Is Valem here yet? Can we move away from poo talk?
Yeah, am I here?
Bad.
Yeah, I mean, you can arrive as they're talking about poo.
Wonderful.
We have the map to where they are.
So they were able to find him. They weren't able to do anything else.
There's too many.
There's a lot.
people.
They didn't want to die.
They did refund us part of the money, though.
So they're not even interested in helping us. They're not going to do
It
this at all.
doesn't seem
They
like.
Not
think
for
it's a
that
suicide
price.
mission.
Okay.
But my suggestion is we go to Rena.
At this point, I think that's our only other option. Mayuki basically said that there's nothing she can do. She seemed quite disinterested, to be honest.
Yeah, she seems to do her own thing. It doesn't care about.
That is another option. Elizabeth can find people, right? Or just
What?
right? You can only find objects, not people.
Yeah, I can find objects, not people.
Unfortunate. They don't carry anything either that I think of, right?
Not that I'd be familiar enough with to be able to use the spell effectively.
Them.
Based on what Aldo told me, I think my parents might be dead anyway. So at this point, it's basically ensuring that they don't live either.
Wait, didn't they just tell us that they saw the parents with them? We didn't.
They know that the
specify.
parents are in there, but they didn't know what.
Yeah.
From everything they heard, people were being held there.
We have to go into this thinking your parents are alive, though. Because if they are still alive, us just running in there is going to get them killed.
Well, that's the thing. If they're still alive,
They might
I'd
be
like to-
expecting us.
I'd like to go as soon as possible. But if this is just a matter of dispatching their so-beat assassins, then we would have the luxury of pulling our resources and
Can you sell
getting
Aldo?
assistance.
Contact him, install him.
I've tried to contact Aldo. He has not responded.
So you guys go. I saw the map. I can copy it quick from Belly, and I'll go get Rena.
Bellion, yeah.
Perhaps we
You
can have
guys go.
Alton install him.
I don't know if that would go very well.
I mean,
That's
you
what I thought.
guys can send to me if absolutely necessary.
Some of us are very tired. It is a problem.
I can fly there quicker, though I'm probably the last person she wants to see. How would I make you fly, Elizabeth?
It could be interesting.
You'll get there quicker.
That's not my concern.
Well, speed is my concern.
No, I'm saying it's totally fine. We're just gonna have to see how it goes. Well, first, let's Balaam. Does that seem like a plan?
I didn't get a plan out of that, to be quite honest.
You guys go to the sewers while Beth goes to get Rena.
Rena may have access to a map of the sewers, you know.
Yeah, we have a map.
Yeah, I don't think we should split again. If we're gonna go to Rena, we should all go to Rena. It didn't end well last time when we split. And I think dividing our forces is gonna
Also, it seems
Hinder what we're
you're-
trying to do.
you have more weight here with Rita than any of the rest of us.
Definitely more than me.
I've only met the woman once.
She's a horrible person.
We just tried to hire assassins. I'm fairly certain we don't get to judge anymore.
Wait, what about Brutus?
We hired assassins to kill people that were already evil, that deserved to die.
Does not make it any better.
I mean, everybody at the Spires seemed to have some kind of revere for Brutus, and Reginald said that the man used to have a giant greatsword that he swung around. Do you think he's got any allies he can add into this?
That you want to put in danger?
That he'd be willing to.
Belen would have to
I-
ask.
I'm very concerned with how many people we're going to find in these sewers. If this group that we just attempted to hire wouldn't
There was only 3 of
even
them, though.
bother to help.
No, there were only 3 in the room with us. There were more.
And it was only
They
2
may have
people.
been, willing if there was a bigger reward in it for him, but
I don't want to go in there unprepared. I don't want to go in half-cocked. So we definitely need to pull our resources. If getting everyone that we conceivably can to help, if they're willing to do so, I mean that's what we would need to do.
Sounds fine to me.
I just
I mean, and the other way to think about it, and Balaam, if you think your parents are no longer, there's other people. There might be other people, and it becomes less a matter of just our needs as far as saving the people we want saved. But if there's other subject on there, we know what these people can and are capable of, and I don't think any of us want to leave them there if we can get our allies together and take them out.
how about this as a plan? We all go to find Rena now, see what help we can get from the law. We head back to the Spires, see what help we can get from the clerics and Brutus, since the Spires is closer on the west coast. Any sewer entrance or boat that we're going to take to get there, it's going to have to be close to that side of the city. And then we decide if we need a rest. I mean, I know we could all use sleep, but if Phelan's parents are still alive, then another 8 hours might be more time than they have.
If we're gonna stop by the Spires anyway, we can see if Dell has any stimulants to get rid of the exhaustion.
Does seem like a man with a herb for everything.
Should be noted, Beth is very obviously trying to look on the bright side.
Well, so where to first?
The police.
I'd like to go see Rena first.
And then that's where we go.
Okay.
Walking montage.
Okay. Yeah. Walk-in montage. Yeah. So you guys make your way through the city. The hustle bustle only gets louder, only gets more busy and packed through these city streets. And I'm assuming you're heading directly to the barracks where you met her before.
Yeah, probably.
Specifically, Celinda and Reginald. Yeah, so Celinda and Reginald, you guys can kind of lead everyone because you've been here before. And there's always a, stronger presence here than elsewhere in the city, near the barracks, people coming and going. And yeah, you head into the barracks, and there's a couple people that looks like they're waiting, probably nobles that are waiting to complain about the noise in the neighborhood or the kids partying or God knows what. And that same young guard that you guys met with before is back behind the counter. And Selenda and Reginald, he recognizes you guys almost immediately, and he immediately starts to look nervous, and he says, "Oh, hello.
Morning, Constable.
Yes. Hello, my lord. Back so soon, are we?"
Unfortunately.
We like to keep busy. Is Sergeant Rena here?
Yes,
Whatever.
she is. She's she's here. Not in the best of moods. You sure you don't want to come back?
We're on kind of a time schedule.
Yeah, like he sighs with his whole body. Well,
Trust me, she'll want to hear about this.
oh, I doubt that.
Well,
I'll be
maybe
right
you're
back.
right. Maybe she doesn't.
And yeah, he descends from the desk and disappears back into the depths of the barracks for a couple minutes. And you two hear the telltale click clack of her shoes on the floor as she approaches. And she sees the two of you, and then she observes the rest of you. And she doesn't quite sigh, but she's obviously not pleased.
Does Linda still have a giant black eye?
Yes, yeah, it's true, yeah. She says to you, Selenda and Reginald, more than anyone else, "It's barely been a day."
Yeah, well, shit went tits up.
Yeah, and she kind of looks at you, Selenda, a little bit like a mother, and she says, "Language, young lady." She says, "Well, I guess we should get to this." And Valem, I think she makes a point of making eye contact with you and giving you a nod, like a respectful, like, "I see you," and the two of you have kind
I
of
see you with
established
them
something.
hands.
Hmm.
She said, "Well, let's get this over with then." So it kind of turns on heel and sort of just expects you guys to follow her.
I'll start following behind her too.
Yeah, follow.
Yeah, and she leads you not to an interrogation room, but it looks almost like a conference room that the guards might have, where the guards are given instructions for the day and that sort of thing. And there's nobody in there as you enter. And there's a bunch of desks that basically point toward the front of the room, and she stands behind the desk at the front of the room and sort of just beckons for all of you to take seats. And I assume you do, unless it's one of you chooses not to sit.
Standing.
I kind of assume.
Beth will sit.
I'm probably going to wind up standing just because even if I sit at the table, I can't look over it.
And
It's actually going to make Alton feel a little less weird about it.
yeah, and she obviously takes note that you're not sitting, but she doesn't say anything. She says, "I haven't had much time to look into your specific situation." And Valem, she's more or less talking to you.
Hmm.
Says, "Do I really want to know what brings you here so soon?"
Well, this is exactly why we're here. Is we got additional information. My other sister is back at the temple now, but my parents they're in grave danger if they're still alive. We got information on where they're being held, but we're told that the numbers of the people that are holding them, the number is overwhelming. So I'm coming to you with this information and basically asking for your assistance.
Yeah, and she crosses her arms and she just very quickly says, "Where are they being held?"
Beth will produce the copy of the map that she made from Bellion.
It's a sewer system off of the west coast.
There's also cave access from the.
And she's nodding. She said, "Yes, I'm familiar. How did you come upon this information? How did you find out that they were being held there?"
We got the information from people along the docks.
She
Yeah.
said, "I would very much like to speak with them. I'll need to note it in my records."
No offense, but time is definitely of the essence here. This is their lives that we're dealing
Yeah, and
with.
she puts her hand up to interrupt. She said, I don't mean right now, but I'm going to need their names so that I can speak with them for my reports after. I understand your family's at risk. She said, just for my record, so I can speak with them after, what are their names?
The only name we got was Canton.
Now, are you intentionally lying, or you just not remember his name?
No, I'm intentionally only giving him up because he was a dick.
Are you? Well, his name is Cantor, but
Or
are
Cantor. Okay, that's what I meant, not Canton. Yeah.
do you actually say Cantor?
Yeah, I say Cantor.
Okay. Her whole body goes stiff, and she like stares at you, Reggie. She says, Cantor Haig?
He's
Didn't
a
get a
real
last name,
jerk.
but
Does he bark like a dog?
She said, and, like, she's obviously like fuming. Like, she is like full of piss and vinegar when you say that. Like, where can I find him?
Docs. I mean, we just,
Yeah.
asked for someone who'd be able to find this Zentaur, someone who had a reason to look for him or be willing to look for him.
She's
showed up.
like through her teeth saying, I really wish you hadn't said that to me.
You asked for the names.
He's not exactly a reputable source.
Do you expect to find disreputable people using nothing but reputable sources? Isn't that counterproductive? I admit I'm no law enforcement
Is now really
person.
the time to discuss the source, the
Yeah, and
information.
she says to you specifically, Alton, she says, I am the law here, sir.
I'm not questioning that. I'm trying to
Just had a
understand.
Judge Dredd flash.
I am the law. No. God damn it. No, but she's trying to demonstrate to you that, like, she's a police officer. She has a protocol to follow. And you're breaking that protocol.
You asked for a name. We gave you a name. You asked us not to. Oh, actually, I wouldn't know that. Never mind.
We chose to come to you first rather than act on the information based on the fact that last time we acted on information without coming to you first, it went poorly.
Yeah, and she sighs very, very visibly.
We are trying to be cooperative.
Yeah, and she notes and she says, I guess at least it's some improvement over the last time. And Selenda, she pointedly looks at you.
She just gives her this innocent look, like, what? Huh?
Yeah, and she just rolls her eyes and kind of she turns to you, Valem. She says, you will of course have our assistance, but there are things that you have to understand here. I can't allow you to kill these people. They will have to go into custody. If they are, as you say, members of the Zentarum, they will need to be questioned and put on trial. I can't relate to your frustration or anger, and I'm sorry, but I have to
Well,
follow
I would
the law.
certainly, I completely understand. I would certainly be willing to testify.
Well,
But
yes.
I understand death may not be an immediate thing, but I would expect punishment to fit the crime.
She says, yes, of course, I understand that. I just mean, for the time being, none of them can die. If they do, to use a turn of phrase of
If
your
Kella
friend,
Dark
everything
Hope
will
is
go
there?
tits up.
Oh, now who needs the language?
How many do you need?
Well, I certainly wouldn't expect them to simply surrender because you show up. So if they resist and we're forced,
You are never forced to kill anyone. I'm not saying don't put them down.
So we won't use lethal force.
Unless it's Kella.
And she
Selenda.
turns to you, Selena. She says, there can be no death here. If there is, I can't help you, and I will have to put you on trial as well. Vigilantism
I would
is still a
gladly
crime.
go on trial to kill Kella.
And she kind of turns
Not-
to you, Valem, as if, like, get your people in check.
we're asking you for your assistance and we'll do as you ask.
Thank you. I am not unfamiliar with these sewers, these waterways. They are old and decrepit, though not in use for quite some time. She said, I may be able to find access inside the city. If you'd like, I would recommend at the very least something of a pincer maneuver. You attack from maybe the cave mouth, and we can protect the other way to make sure no one escapes. We can move in from the top of the sewers if you move in through the cave.
We're also hoping to get some aid from the Spires of Morning.
What's his name? Brutus?
Brutus.
Yeah, and she obviously takes note. Like, she doesn't make a huge show of it, but yeah, she takes note when you say his name.
Beth doesn't get the stink eye because last time she met Beth was walking arm in arm with him, right?
Yeah, I mean, she, for the time being, if she's noticed like that you're that woman, she hasn't really made any mention of it or anything
Okay.
to indicate it just yet. And
Again, to make it known as well, this is a hostage situation, so just going in and attacking doesn't seem to be very wise. So I can understand you're wanting to use this specific tactic, but we need to be very cautious with this as well.
and she says, "I am always cautious, sir. But could you be more specific for my sake? What is it you're saying?"
Well, if we use your tactic where we go in and attack and you're more or less kind of waiting for them to go out, they're not going to carry them out with them. As soon as they see that their plan is foiled, there's no reason for them to keep my parents alive.
I suppose I take your point. What would you suggest, though?
Is there any way to, I guess, to set up a plant? Do you have undercover officers that could potentially get inside and
That's a good
ensure
question.
their safety ahead of time?
I could get in.
You failed pretty miserably last time. I'll point that out.
That was
gonna say-
because I was trying to impersonate someone a little bit too high up, I think.
The last time you tried to impersonate someone, I almost shot you.
I mean,
Yeah, and I think Reyna is not too pleased with that plan. Like, as soon as Celinda speaks up, she's obviously reluctant and doesn't like it. She says, "Well, it's something to think about, but on such short notice, I don't know if it's wise."
It should also be brought to your attention that at least one of them is confirmed to use arcane magic, although we don't know if that person is there.
I thought I killed them. Oh, are you
You said
talking
you had
about
maps.
Andros?
hmm
Don't you fucking cat!
You said you
Don't
had
fuck a
maps?
cat. That's generally good advice.
Yeah, that's bestiality, man. Don't do that.
Yeah, no, man.
He came in and grabbed my headphones.
Elena, you said you had maps of the sewers?
Well, they're old. I don't know if they're up to date. Again, we've not used those sewers in a century or more. That I thought they were collapsed.
I
They
understand.
can be rebuilt.
She said, "I mean, they're huge. There might as well be catacombs, as far as I'm concerned. We found better ways."
Understandable. I'm just more wondering if I immediately look at something and go, some people could get in with a map.
Oh, I could get in with a map.
Mm-hmm.
So could I
So
think
could I.
Alton and you.
Alton cannot.
She
Doesn't
said,
Alton have Dimension Door?
No.
No, that's me.
"Yeah, and Reyna's obviously like kind of disturbed by whatever it is because she doesn't understand what you're saying. And I think at the mention of Dimension Door, she obviously looks flustered at you, Celinda.
Sorry.
She says, "Well, another suggestion. I don't know if it'll work. What if you and your friends were to split up? You could attack them both at the same time from two different angles, and we would follow behind, thereby preventing you from killing anyone, and we can immediately take them into custody behind you. You would be something of a, well, the first force, the primary force, and you would take them down, and then we would take them into custody. It would be faster, I think, less dangerous, and would give us more of a sense of control, would it not?"
Perhaps.
Assuming that we know the layout as well, as again, regardless of where my parents are being kept, would determine
The concern
whether
then
that
still
would make sense or not.
split up where a smaller force. We're stronger together.
She nods. She said, "Well, yes."
But if we can cover both, I mean, attacking on two fronts will divide their forces. So
have a small idea. We should if we split up, we could easily have perhaps me and Selenda on one side and Alton on the other. He can make them invisible if we find them and run with them.
Yeah, the quiet
I mean,
folks
if
could
we
go into
find
the
them-
sewer.
If we find them, we could just dimension door out with them.
If you can get to them.
That's what I mean. If we can see them, we can dimension door out.
And Beth will look at Bellion. So you and me dimension in. I mean, I can give us a hand with stealth. Can you dimension out then too, or should
Only
you?
take one person.
Yeah.
Ah,
It is going in would be me and Selenda because otherwise it is a one-way trip for some of us. And
Yeah.
if we found them, we knew where they were. Me and Selenda could just be there and out before they even knew what happened. Otherwise, it's stand and fight, which I am perfectly
As
capable
long as
of
I
doing.
keep my 4th level spells, that is. So yeah.
But if it's to that, I mean, even if we see them, we could always perhaps turn his family, no, not in a mean way, turn his family into large creatures that can fight their own way out.
I mean, just to be clear, like looking at the map is not going to tell you where her parents are being, or Valen's
Yeah,
parents.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're debating going in
I know
just
that.
straight up blind, and just as soon as we see them, what we're doing.
We're gonna be so fucked if we do that though.
Well, it is very dangerous.
if you pick a collapsed room,
It hurts. It hurts a lot.
Perhaps we should just go in with them, and if we
Yeah, when we
if
see
we
them,
find out where they are, we'll dimension door them out, so at least they're safe.
I mean,
and before we go in, we get all our allies together, and I can make sure that if any of us need to be stealthy, or cautious, or quiet, I can give us a bit of an edge, whether we're together or not. So long as we gather first, at least for an hour.
Alton, would your friend be able to go in and scout the area?
Duh!
He's already been sent.
Yeah, he's already there.
Well, you said he was outside of the cave, not in.
Correct, but I want to get an idea of what the outside guards were. How long has this been? And would he have been able to make it is really the question.
Yeah, I mean, I think he would have been able to make it outside of the caves, yeah. But he wouldn't be able to communicate that to you until you come back together.
Well, that's the stat. If it's been like a half hour, 45 minutes, he should have been able to. I should have an idea if he could fly, how far he can fly, how fast he can fly, right?
Yeah, I mean, because he can fly, like he doesn't have to worry about traffic. But so yeah, he can make it there pretty quick.
Yeah,
Just a story about bacon.
Yep.
Also true.
but that's exactly the point. I will resummon him directly to me.
Okay.
Now that I have-
are you gonna do that?
I'm going to, and I'm just going to look. If I reveal this, I'm not going to be welcome here anymore. So
oh, don't worry. I don't like you anyways.
fair. And I look at the lady at the I don't think I've actually got her name personally. So for the record, don't freak out. And I summon O's.
Okay. What does it look like when you begin to summon him? Like, is there a ritual?
Because I've already cast the ritual, it's just a quick cast and an action just to bring him directly to me.
Okay. So what does it look like when he pops into the room? Like, what does that actually look like?
Probably the smell of very, very rank salt water, like what stagnant water,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and a splash of I'm not quite sure what colored water it would be, but definitely not clear blue water on the floor.
Okay, yeah, and he like basically comes creeping out of this puddle that appears on the ground, and maybe he actually just forms up out of it. Like there's a puddle that just appears, like it looks like the water is coming out of nowhere, out of the floor, and then the water sort of shapes into this imp shape, and it solidifies into this imp, and it's like sitting there, and I think he's just like sitting there, like scratching his head, and he just looks at you, and he just says inside your mind, he just goes, "What the hell, boss?"
O's, we need to know what their outdoor defenses like are at the cave.
It's like, yeah, like I get it. You sent me out there, man, but like, No bacon? You just summoned me out of nowhere? Like, what the fuck, man? Like,
I holds up. I actually reaches my back and pull out the bacon.
okay, yeah, and he like flies at you for the bacon.
Not O's.
And like, I think at this point, Reyna is like in a defensive position, and she looks at you, Valem. She says, "What is going on here? What is this devilry? What you travel?"
It is not devilry.
And she's not speaking to you.
He's adorable, isn't he? And he loves bacon.
No.
It's just magic.
Yeah, and Oz realizes that she's in the room, so he kind of like sees the bacon, and he looks back at her, and he looks at the bacon, and looks back at her. He goes, "Hey, lady, tell him to give me the bacon. Like, come on, be cool." And she's just like frightened and confused.
Some gods give their followers clerical powers, and I gesture to our party cleric. Some gods just talk to people. Mine gave me this.
Yeah, and I think Reyna turns to you, Valem. She says, "These are those that you would travel with, that you would trust to have your back, to support you in your time of need."
We're the good guys.
Oh, that's so gross. Like, I want to give you disadvantage. That sounds like a Suicide Squad quote. Ugh, we're the good guy. Like, go wash your mouth out. Ugh. Yes.
O's I give him half the bacon.
And he gobbles it down quickly. And he looks
The
at you like
defenses.
expectantly to give you the rest.
The defenses,
He's like,
then
"Oh,
you get
God,
the rest.
man. All right, dude, just chill out." It's like, "Listen, boss, listen. There's a lot of people there. A lot of people. They have weapons. It's dark and gross. It smells kind of awesome to me, but like, I don't think you'll feel the same way. Can I have the bacon now?"
How many people, O's? You're smarter than
It's like,
that.
"I don't know. I saw a bunch. Like, I didn't go inside. You didn't tell me to go inside. I just saw people. There's a couple of people watching the outside. That's it. I just saw like 2 or 3 people."
That's what I needed to know. Here's the rest of the bacon. Go invisible, go back, and go inside. If you can't go anymore, you get spotted, come back.
He's like, "This relationship's really starting to take a toll on me, boss." And he
This
just, like,
relationship, and if you succeed, I will buy you a full pound of bacon.
he's like, "I don't know if that's gonna be good enough anymore." And he just like blinks out, turns invisible, and begins to like fly away.
I give
What
him
a
5
demanding
pounds
little
just
creep.
for being there. You have to up the offer, man.
Okay, so he flies off. Reyna is obviously on guard and freaked the fuck out.
He did warn you, to be fair. He could have just done it.
She says to like none of you and all of you at once, "I hope when this is done, you will leave my city for the foreseeable future. This is
Has he done anything
Seem
wrong?
to get that a lot.
yes, well, that should come as no surprise."
You
Reyna,
fear
has he
something you
done
don't
anything
understand.
wrong?
I just look at Celinda, just shake my head.
And she just like
She doesn't understand.
She just raises her hand as if to silence all of you. "Can we finish this, please? I would very much like to finish this. What exactly is the plan here?" And she's speaking more to Valem than anyone else.
Reyna, how much time do you need to get your people together, whoever you're going to send to assist us?
Well, how many would you like me to bring? I could bring the entire barracks if you want. That's a lot of people. I could round them up rather quickly. We're, well, forgive me for saying so, but good at our jobs. And there's like obviously like a jibe there.
Well, again, in order for us to properly plan this, it's going to require us to know as much as we can. Obviously, he just sent his companion to scout the tunnels. Once we have a better understanding as far as what we need to do, we'll have a better idea of what we can ask of you. So, although I understand you want to get us out of your office, you want to find out what we need, we don't know this yet. So we brought this information to your attention. As was mentioned, we're going to go back to the Spires to try to get some assistance as well. Once we get more information, I think it would be wise for us to return to you as opposed to just sitting here and waiting. So if you don't mind, perhaps we would just come back at a later time today.
I don't love it, but fine. In the meantime, I will do what research I can. I will look for those plans. and I will send out some scouts to see what they can find out. Also, since I know that you were near him, I'm going to send some men to the docks to find one Cantor Haig. And if I am able to capture him, I expect that you will testify against him.
As far as we know, he did nothing wrong.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah,
sure what
I
we would
mean-
testify against.
I have a
All it-
list of crimes longer than both of my arms combined for which I can try him for. I am unable to find him. Slippery little fuck. And like she
we don't-
swallows
we
the
didn't-
curse.
We
We didn't
can't
see him do
testify
anything illegal. He just gave us information, ma'am.
At
That
most,
would
I'd
be
be
false
willing
testimony.
to confirm that he called himself Cantor when we first met him. That's the name he gave.
She looks at you, kind of, Valem. She says, "Do you want my help or not? Because I would very much like to clear the Zentarum out of my city, and that is a huge boon to me and the city in general. But I would also very much like to capture and imprison Cantor Haig for as long as is reasonable. Will you not assist me in this?"
He is kind of a dog.
You're sending some really mixed signals. You want
Yeah.
us to false testify against him? Is that what you're
I
asking?
want to be able to find. In perfect honesty, I don't trust that you didn't. I want to know what your interaction with him is. You're being very sketchy about it. I don't know why you would look for such a man.
I didn't speak to him at all.
No, that was me. And I said I was looking for someone who could find people in a hurry. That's all I asked for.
He was very upset about us not wanting to, just wanting to find people. In fact, what we did it.
Yeah, she looks rather like distraught. She says, "I know this man is a criminal."
But we do not.
It doesn't matter right now.
I mean,
have other
that's fine. If you want to arrest him, that's perfectly fine.
I will need
But
you to
I can't-
testify that you spoke to him, where and when. I will need to file reports.
I didn't speak with him.
I'm willing to stay and speak with you. Absolutely.
She like nods reluctantly, like she doesn't want it to be you that stays. But yeah, she'll.
I'm the one who hired and had interactions with him, so you're just going to have to deal with me.
Yeah, so she's reluctant, but she will agree to that. But yeah, she says to you, Valem, come back when you can. Tell me what you need. I don't love this, but I do wish to get the Zentarum presence out of my city, so please do be fast and keep me in the loop as you have done, and I do appreciate it.
By the way, Kella Darkhope is Zentarum. You might want to keep the wanted posters for her up at least.
Yeah, and she kind of like rolls her eyes as she turns her head to you. She says, "Fine." And
I can also give you Andros's face as well.
And she kind of looks at you, Valem. She says, "Please come back when you're ready." And she like just kind of turns to go out the room, like she doesn't want to hear what Scylla's saying.
She still winks at her like, see you later.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. So she goes to leave the room, and as she's like in the doorway, she turns to you out, and she says, "Well, are you coming?"
Wow, you have a lot of
Wait.
expectations for someone who doesn't ask for anything. And I follow her.
I
Want
thought you didn't
company,
need
Elton?
that stuff till later.
No, you'll probably turn me into a rat.
Oh, you weren't really expecting it yet, but maybe. No. We're good.
Okay. Yeah. So she and Alton disappear down the hallway. You can kind of hear her shoes hitting the floor as she disappears. So you guys are all left in the room. Are you heading to the temple next?
Wherever Valem is
Yes.
going.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be the
Yeah.
plan. Before they leave the room, let Alton know that we're gonna go be at the temple
What
when they're
else do
done
we-
with their very awkward questioning about
2-finger salute.
Cantor.
Like, you guys aren't going anywhere, correct? You're gonna stay there.
What?
So's the hope.
Alton knows what's happening next because
It is more I want to go shopping for something before on the way back. Just making sure that I do not lose you all again.
What do you need to buy?
Nothing.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not the most suspicious thing in the world.
Never. No, no, no. Not suspicious whatsoever. Nothing at all. Do not worry about it.
Okay. It's not drugs, is it? If it is,
I
I want
wish.
some.
We'll be at the spires, and Beth walks off.
I wish it was the thing that Molly had, but no, I do not know where to get that.
Okay. So Elizabeth is heading back. I assume Valem, you're going to the spires.
Yes.
Sill's
Uh,
going with them as well.
Yeah, I'm going. Yeah.
Okay. Reginald is going. Syl, you're going back to the spires.
Yep.
Alton, you're going to be questioned. Bellian, are you ditching them?
I'm pretty much just stopping along the way to buy black paint.
Okay.
Okay.
Weirdo.
Just walking into a store, go need black paint.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to go somewhere specific. Like you're not like what kind of paint is are you painting a wall? Are you painting a ship? Are you painting for
Are you
art's
painting your
sake?
face?
Yeah.
I am painting myself.
So grease paint.
Yeah, so grease would work. So you would want to find like I think the middle of the city basically is where all the merchants and things are. So yeah, you would be able to find someone who would part with some grease paint, I guess.
Like grease paint, shoe polish. It all works.
It's basically what it is.
Yeah, I'll buy a bunch of shoe polish. You can go on the armor too. It'll be great.
Oh, gross.
For that much,
Alright.
I think it would cost, let's say, I don't know, 2 gold.
Done. Hey,
Okay.
I earned 2 gold earlier. It all
yeah.
works out for me.
That's true. So okay,
And then I'll go back to them, obviously. Like I'm not gonna take long. Just making
right.
a
You're
quick
just
stop.
stopping off, and you'll meet them back at the temple because you know where they're going. All right. So you guys, the rest of you, arrive at the temple. Valem, where do you go?
I'm gonna go to Sister Serena,
Okay.
her office.
Sure.
I'm gonna actually part ways once we're at the spires and go. I'm gonna go check with Dell because there was some story trading, and
I'll come with you. He might have some
stimulants.
stimulants for us.
Okay.
Sill
So
is like torn between staying with Balaam and going.
so where's Syl going? With Reginald?
It might
Elizabeth?
It might be best if I speak with the sister alone. So if you can.
All right.
Okay. So Valem, you make your way through the temple to Sister Serena's office. She is there. I think she's probably doing paperwork when you arrive. She's probably speaking to a younger acolyte, kind of giving them orders, and she's got a bunch of paperwork that she appears to be doing. Some kind of ledger she has on the desk, and the door is open though when you arrive. So she kind of takes note of you as you are outside of the door in the hallway. She kind of closes the ledger. She looks at the acolyte and dismisses them. She stands up. As the acolyte walks past you, she says, "Welcome back, brother."
Thank you, sister. I have information that I wanted to update you with on the situation with my family. Both of my sisters are safe here in the temple, but my parents are still being kept hostage. I spoke with Lieutenant Reyna, and she's going to assist us in entering the tunnels to try to recover them. Because of the law's involvement, obviously we're limited to what we're going to be able to do action-wise. So I'm asking if there's any assistance that we can receive from the temple itself as well.
She kind of nods. She said, "As is always the case, we have assistance and aid to offer you, but in this specific instance, I'm unsure what it is you want us to do."
Some potions.
Shh. So as I mentioned earlier on, I don't want to risk anyone's lives. So people and personnel involvement is not something that I would ask for. But equipment-wise, if there's anything in particular that would be able to assist us, I'm not at liberty to ask for specifics, but obviously health-related items, potions of that nature. I can't imagine the temple parting with any artifacts, but anything of a magical nature to assist us would be appreciated as well. Those items could certainly be returned upon our completion with this mission.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So she looks like at the mention of like potions, she doesn't seem terribly shocked. Like that's a reasonable request. But when you're asking for artifacts, um, she looks a little not freaked out, but I mean she's definitely surprised at that request. Um,
Well,
she,
again, I didn't request artifacts. I said I wouldn't expect artifacts, but anything of the magical nature.
well, yeah, but that's the thing. Like anything of magical nature is, I mean, the potions. It's like okay, well, potions are probably okay, but yeah, yeah, she kind of nods and she says, yes, I suppose that could be arranged. I'm not sure what we have in our stores. They're not usually kept for this purpose. We usually send them out with clerics who are going into the field. I suppose this is some sort of field work, though. I can probably arrange for things to be taken, to be given to you. Is there anything specific you'd request?
I have no expectations. Anything that you can offer is certainly appreciated. Again, there's no way that other than healing healing items, there isn't anything in particular that I would specifically ask for.
Okay. So here's how we're gonna play this because I feel like doing it this way. Why don't you roll me? I'm thinking persuasion here. I mean, we could, in all honesty, we could just roll a d20, and I think the higher you roll, the more stuff she will get you. Does that seem fair?
Sure. Bang.
Holy Christ.
Oh shit!
Okay.
You were saying?
All right. Okay. So she will gather for you some supplies. It'll take her maybe some time to get it, but she will get you some things. So if you want to give her a couple hours, she will requisition you some materials.
Damn, what a time to crit.
Sister,
Yeah. And if ever there was
again,
a time
sister,
for
I
a
appreciate
crit,
it.
yeah, that's the time.
Thank you so much, sister.
She nods. Just remember that. She kind of shakes her head. Just do be careful and please come back alive. I don't want any of this to come back on the temple.
Well, I have things to do later, so I don't intend on dying.
Well, good. Good. Well, yes, if you give me some time, I'll see what I can scrounge up for you.
Thank you, sister.
And she like nods her head. Okay, and Reginald, Elizabeth, and Selenda, you were going where? To Delvarian?
Yes.
So I think as you guys approach the courtyard, what you observe.
I'm keeping an eye out for Brutus too, but I'm
right.
We're looking for him because I don't know where to look.
Well, we're gonna
Yeah,
get.
Beth thinks he. Yeah.
We're getting to that. Yeah, as you guys approach the courtyard, I think that you kind of hear some excited chitter chatter from Delvarian. You hear his voice coming from the courtyard. And as you kind of turn the corner to head back there, what you observe is Delvarian sitting in his normal position at the bench, but you also see Brutus, who is not wearing a shirt. He's got a pair of pants on. He's quite well muscled, this dwarf, and scarred, like battle scarred in a heavy way. And you see him. He appears to be wielding a sort of large wooden sword. Right? It's obvious to you at first glance that it is made of wood, but it is quite large. And he appears to be doing some sort of what we might recognize as like a kata, like he's doing some sort of forms with the sword. And he appears very deft with this weapon, almost like it's second skin for him. He knows how to hold it. And he appears to be moving around and pulling the sword into different positions and flexing his muscles. And Delvarian meanwhile, you hear Delvarian asking him, like, so when you were out there in the desert, I mean, how did you get away? I don't understand. And I think, like, very suddenly Brutus kind of, like, jerks and stops moving with the sword, and he kind of is holding it up in front of his face in almost like a formal position. And his head kind of turns to look at all of you. And he like lowers the sword down into the ground, and he kind of plants the sword. And even though it's not sharp, like it still sticks in the ground from like the force of his shoving the sword down.
So Beth's gonna be really excited that she was right on where to find Brutus until she realizes he's like topless,
Yeah.
and she's still Beth. So as soon as he kind of turns, she's like, "Brutus, there! Oh, I'm sorry." And she like looks away. "We were looking for you," and she's like not looking at him.
Syl is looking appreciatively.
Yeah.
We were hoping to get some help with the Phalem's family, and now she's like doing like that side eye thing because she's trying not to be disrespectful, but she
Yeah.
is so red in the face still.
And Brutus just kind of laughs, and you see now that he's got some sweat on him, like he's been working at this for a little while, and he just laughs this mirthful little giggle, and Delvarian looks confused, like he's not sure why Elizabeth is upset, like he's not sure. So I think Delvarian gets up and he runs over to Elizabeth. He says, "Oh, Elizabeth, are you well? Oh dear, are you sick? What's going on?" And Brutus is just kind of laughing. He said, I think it's all right, Del. I think she's just a wee bit young, inexperienced in the ways of the world. It's all right." And like you see Brutus kind of walk over and he reaches over into the bench and he picks up a shirt and it's kind of like crumpled up and he uses it to like wipe the sweat off of him and he unfurls it. He puts it on. And he kind of walks over. He says, "It's all right, girl. I'm decent now. I apologize about that."
I walked in. Actually, Del, we were hoping you might have something. We've been up for a while. Do you want to? No. And I'm looking at now it's Celinda and Reginald. Who wants to explain the thing we need for Valem and who wants to look for stimulants?
I'll talk to Brutus.
You go look
Oh,
for
good.
the drugs, Beth.
Yes. Delvarian, I was hoping that you had something to kind of keep us going a little while longer, maybe beyond what is necessarily okay, but we can rest when it's over. We just need a few more hours, and sleeping is not an option. It's for Valem.
And you're saying this more to Del than Brutus?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Del-
she's looked at Del and kind of given him a thanking nod. And the blush is still there, but it's slowly fading.
Yeah. Del
But
says,
she's no longer ignoring him.
Yeah. Del says, "Of course, anything for Valem. What's going on? I mean, you guys have been gone for quite some time. And wait, what time is it? How long have you been gone?" Like, and you can see him trying to do mental math to figure out. Like, he's obviously like, he gets himself busy and he's not able to keep track of time.
Yeah, so Beth will kind of take him by the arm and kind of lead back towards his cottage and explain the situation. We've been up for like probably just over 24 hours at this point. We need another, to get another 12 hours out of ourselves, 8 to 12 hours, and hopefully we were hoping he had something to help us.
I don't think we've slept since when we all passed out in front of his house.
Yeah,
Yeah. And Del says,
which was like midday the day prior, so we're almost at 24 hours, I think.
yeah. Del says, well, of course, I have a bed and I can fix up a cot or two.
No, we don't need a bed. We need something to keep us going.
Oh, well, that's not entirely wise. I mean, going out too
Just
long
this once.
without sleep. Oh, I know, but oh dear.
It's for Valem's family.
I might have something, but it's dangerous and there are consequences. I haven't refined the formula and, well, it'll keep you awake, but,
But
well, I don't quite know. Long term, I haven't had time and it's dangerous to experiment and, oh dear.
We're all young, strong.
Some of us are young.
Valem and Reginald are not.
You're young. And she like kind of punches Reginald in the shoulder. Come on. He's
Yeah, and then
not that
Reginald
old.
suddenly remembers he has to pee because he does all the time. No, so yeah,
Who resent that remark?
so Delvarian says it really isn't safe, but if you're sure and it's for good purpose. Oh,
How about this? If you can give me a little bit, we'll only use it if we absolutely have to. But we won't use it until we reach that point.
well, if I have your word, of course.
Absolutely.
It's best drunk in tea. You can eat it straight, but I really wouldn't recommend that.
Okay.
Well, we don't have time for tea when we're in this.
I understand. And he turns around and disappears, and he goes back into his cottage, and you hear him wrestling around, and you hear the sound of like vials moving around, beakers, and that sort of stuff. And you're left outside with Brutus, and Brutus kind of like leans on the sword that he's embedded in the ground. He says, "Hey, right, so what's going on here? Y'all seeming quite a bit of a fuss, if you don't mind my saying."
I'm gonna ask Brutus and say, do you still have that big heavy armor you used to wear? Because we plan on squashing some snakes.
Yeah, you want to come punch some snakes with us?
Yeah, and he grins a little. He says, "Hey, I typically don't wear it here, but he says, I don't much need it in the temple, but of course I've got it." And he looks at you, Reggie, a little confused. He said, "How did you know about my armor?"
Well, seeing you wield this wooden sword confirmed, that I've met you before. I think it's been a few decades, though.
He says, "Aye, you have to forgive me. I'm not good with humans. You age so strangely. I don't recognize your face. Where do you know me from?" Did we?
I would have been a young man in those days. But we probably would have met in a small inn a little bit north of Candlekeep. The prancing wallaby.
He says, I don't know of a place like that. It's been quite some
I might be getting the name wrong. Something.
He said, there's the Dusty Tome. It's a place I used to frequent down there. You know, all the bars down there have stupid book names, because, I shouldn't say stupid. If Delverne hears me, he'll throw a fit. But, yeah, I've been down there. It's been a while. I'm sorry.
It was early winter. It was decades ago, though. I don't expect you to remember, You look practically the same.
Well, yeah. 30 years ago, I would have been about 180 years old, so... yeah, it's been quite some time. I lived for a while, Dwarven and all, but, yeah, I used to take jobs for Candlekeep. Some of the wizards down there used to send me out looking for books and stuff. I'm sorry, I don't remember you, but, yeah, I've got my armor. You sure you're going to need my sort of help?
I think we'll need all the help we can get, and I'll start filling him in on the gist of the Zentarum presence here and the non-lethal plan of action. Somewhat plan.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you take your time, and it takes Delvarian like a couple minutes for him to come back out of the cottage. So you've got a couple minutes to explain to Brutus what's going on exactly. And Delvarian kind of comes out, and he's got a pouch, like a small brown like leather pouch. And it's tied off on the top, and he looks at you, and he looks at each of you, and he's not sure who to give it to. He says, I really can't stress enough that this is dangerous, and it's going to be a risk no matter what. If you want to wait a day, I could do some more testing. It wouldn't take long.
We don't have a day, Delvarian.
If
And
we
again-
did, they wouldn't.
When the risks outweigh the benefits, or benefits outweigh the risks of taking it, we'll take it, and not until.
I understand. He said, well, I wish you the best of luck. Brutus, should we get back to the story then and let them be about their way? And Brutus kind of looks at all of you a little like you might want to just kind of move away. Like you might want to just take your leave at this point. And he
Beth will
kind of
start heading path with her pouch.
and he kind of turns around to Dell, and he beckons Dell, and Dell like takes a knee, so he's more on eye level with Brutus, and you hear him as you're kind of like starting to walk away. He says, "Hi, Dell. I think it's time for me to find another story for you." He said, "Your friends there, they've asked for my help, and I think I'm going to go with them. Seems like they might need it." And Dell, like, if the camera sees Dell's face, Dell looks obviously like mortified. And Brutus says, "Hey, don't worry, friend. I always come back. You know that. Every time, every single time I left, I come back. Now, it's going to be all right. I want you to stay here. I want you to do some research while I'm gone. It's just going to be a few hours, maybe a day at the most. Don't expect it to take long. All right. No reason for you to get worked up." Like you hear Dell like pleading with him, saying, "You've only just arrived. Why do you have to leave so soon? There's so many more stories to tell." And we kind of like we start to fade to black watching this scene as like Brutus is trying to assuage Delvarian's fears, and then we kind of see like Dell looking sad and dejectedly as like Brutus kind of tries to calm Dell, and then Brutus like picks up the wooden sword and he hands it to Dell, and then Dell sort of turns and starts to walk away outside of the courtyard. Exactly, the Incredible Hulk music. So yeah, he goes to leave. I imagine at this point, Alton, you would have, Raina would have. I don't really want to play out that whole scene unless you really do, but
Not particularly.
yeah, she basically questions you about Cantor and that whole thing, about where you met them and what sort of interactions went down. Like, do you tell her the truth that you asked them to murder people, or?
I tell her most of the truth. I don't remember the name of the bar. I never actually bothered to look up. I just know that it currently has no front window and no door because people got thrown through it.
And do you tell her that you asked Cantor for work though, that you paid them?
Yes, I paid them because I wanted to find somebody, which is true.
Okay. All right. I'm just curious so I can play that out later. But yeah, so she releases you, but she does give you that whole like shtick about like, don't leave town in case I need to question you further, and she still chides you for like dealing with Cantor. Like obviously that she has history with Cantor Hague, and she's super not pleased that you were dealing with him. But yeah, she of course releases you, and you can head back to the temple. And I imagine, unless there's something else, Bellion gets his shoe polish, and I think you all return and meet back up in the temple, unless there's anything else someone specifically wants to do.
I mean, still wanted to talk to Beth.
Huh?
Okay.
Beth?
Hmm?
I'm sorry about what I said earlier.
Yeah, me too. Just things are a little tense.
Yeah. I don't really know how to deal with
You cut off with what?
I don't know how to deal with this sort of thing, Beth.
Neither do I, and I'm trapped in a city. I can't tell you what I wouldn't give to be back in that forest. But after this is done, we get the freaking snakes out of our hair, we go off and we start chasing giants again. Just focus on that. We can blow them up and we can shoot them and we can work out all this anger.
I really want Calla's head, though.
In time. Maybe she'll be there.
Maybe. I hope so.
And I have to admit, I'm not totally with it either, as much as I was yelling at you for not being here.
You're going to have to get used to the city sometime, Beth.
No, the Zents apparently mentioned to Valem that they know about me.
Yeah, but when it's all over, Asher lives in the city.
It's not Asher I'm worried about.
No, it's not, but you're going to have to get used to the city sometime.
Maybe. Maybe he'll be ready to be retired by the time I get back there.
He is old enough.
And Beth will just give her a look. All right, come on.
I can't help it, Beth. You're just so easy to pick on.
Apparently. But at least my men are the decent sort.
Oh, you don't know Alistair.
And yet you're not outright denying it.
He's a good man.
Good in bed, maybe.
Know him. But whatever.
Look, girls, I think we should stay focused on the mission right now.
Yes, but I don't want to go into battle with Beth being mad at me.
I haven't been mad at you since the bar. You got punched in the face. That was self-satisfying.
That was awesome.
Moving on.
I think you might have loosened one of my teeth, though.
Okay. So I assume you guys all kind of meet back in the middle somewhere in the temple.
Presumably.
Solarium probably best.
Okay.
Easiest place for everyone to find.
Okay. So yeah. It doesn't take long. Like, you guys have kind of all come back together. I imagine that this feels quite tense for all of you. Like, this is, like, this may be the time when some of us are gonna die. And yeah, you're all kind of sitting there. I imagine solemnly, aside from probably Bellion.
Not at all. Not talking whatsoever. Just sit in the corner and just start polishing armor.
Okay. Yeah, so you guys have this like smell of shoe polish coming from the corner of the room where Bellion is doing something. And some time passes, and I think that Serena wanders into the room, and she's got kind of a box
Full of the deck of many things.
Yes!
No.
Please!
You guys already
Natural
have-
20.
You already have a deck of illusions, I think, don't you?
Yeah, and we have a gem that summons a elemental and a bunch of other stuff.
Okay.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
You guys have a bunch of stuff that you've never used.
Yeah. Alton has a Pearl of Power now as well.
And I will abuse it.
I hope you do, because I think it'll be a lot more useful for me.
You've increased my spell casting by 33%.
Okay.
Well, sort of.
So
You don't
she-
get that
she
pro
kind of-
power back.
She kind of comes in with this kind of crate, and I think slowly behind her we hear the sound of like metal hitting the floor. It's like heavy metal, and I think as turns the corner, it's Brutus, and Brutus is clad in what at least a couple of you, definitely Valem and Reginald, excuse me, recognize as being very fine armor. Like heavy plate and no shield, just a large, very, very, like I said, almost comically large, two-handed like greatsword. And
Is this one made of metal?
it is.
Okay.
It is gleaming. It is clean. It looks like it's almost brand new. I mean, it's a beautiful sword, like a beautiful weapon. But again, it's massively. It looks just unbelievably heavy. Like it would be a miracle if someone could hold it up with two hands, let alone one. And yeah, so he walks in the room, and he kind of sighs and looks all of you up and down, kind of gets a measure for you. And Serena goes to place the box down, and Brutus says, "Hey, are you all ready to go?"
Not exactly. We were waiting on our
We're heading-
scout,
Oh yeah, that's right. Forgot about him.
and then once we get the information from the scout, we need to return to Lieutenant Rena.
And yeah, I think Brutus just looks pretty dejected. He said, "Well, I was ready to go. All right, well, I'll just be waiting here then." And he goes and plops his butt down in this heavy armor, and you can see even the weight of him almost seems to damage stone. Like his armor plus him plus the weapon. And he just goes and sits down, kind of peers over at Bellion, raises an eyebrow.
you need to take care of armor every now and again. It must be polished and well taken, well groomed. Just don't have spice on my face too.
Aye. All right. Kind of looks at the rest of you a little like, what the fuck?
He's not
That's-
from around here.
Beth will also share the fact that she has this stimulant that we are highly warned against using, but if push comes to shove, there are unknown consequences, but it'll keep us going.
Sensu beans.
Mhm. Okay. All right. Yeah. So, I think, so Alton, do you summon Oz back, or are you just expecting him to come back?
No, I'm gonna wind up summoning him. I'm sure, just because of the time frame.
And
Okay.
I think the surgeon said there was a lot of tunnel.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
gonna summon O's back when we were completely reconvened to go.
So I think what happens is, and you'll have to tell me. I don't know, because I got to read up on this warlock shit, and I never do. Would you feel it if Oz was like, I don't know, obliterated?
Considering I would have to recast the spell completely, I'd imagine there's a bond that I'd notice.
Yeah. So I think what happens is you're kind of sitting there and you're trying to everyone's getting ready and Serena's like going to put this box down and I think you feel like a sharp something in your brain that indicates to you that like O's just vanished. Like whatever that sense is, that maybe there's like an arcane bond between the two of you, that it almost feels like a leash and it feels like it just snapped. And he's gone.
Well, that's very, very, very bad. And I liked him.
And I think we'll pick up there next week.
You killed my imp.
Oh,
You
it's
can
not really.
resummon
Yeah,
him.
you can
Yeah.
get a new
Fake.
one, and he'll even have the same name because he can't actually die.
God,
True.
this